This is Ruger Security 380 versus Glock G42. A comparison. Let's hit the range.
Alright, here we are back at the beautiful Banner Range today. And for February, weather is amazing today. It's about mid to high 40s right now, working its way up to the upper 50s, which is amazing weather for this time of year. Don't worry though, by the end of the week it's going to be back down to like 5 degrees with 8 inches of snow on the ground. So we're taking the opportunity today to get some footage in case we can't make it out on the weekend. So we're going to be looking at the Glock G42 today against our Ruger Security 380. Similar to what we did the other day with our Kimber Micro 380 versus the Security 380. We're going to be taking a look at two different personal protection, home defense, concealed carry firearms chambered in 380 ACP. One being in the compact class. We're going to call the G42 in the micro compact class. Glock says it's the smallest Glock possible. Let's see how it does today against our Security 380. Again, we're going to start with the G42 today. Bottom right target of our, well, bottom target on the two target page here. Here we go. And since we only have 6-round magazines, I'm just going to do a second 6-round magazine here. Looks like with this ammo, I'm a smidge low, but as far as the left-right goes, I'm going to say that's spot on. And now we're going to do our Security 380. With this having double stack magazines, I'm going to use the 10-round magazine for this set. You'll notice right off the bat, our Security 380 has a significant capacity advantage over the G42. Let's see if it puts as good a holes in paper as our G42. Here we go. I'm going to shoot the bottom target of the top set of targets this time. Okay, and I'm going to say our point of impact is a smidge to the right with this ammo. Today we're shooting Federal American Eagle. This is 95 grain full metal jacket.
Looking at our first set of targets today, which, by the way, in today's video, the top targets will always be the Security 380 targets. The bottom targets will always be the G42 targets. In my opinion, looking at our first set of targets, I'm going to call these comparable groups. We see groups that are, for me, fairly well centered on the targets, and we're going to say a nice pattern on them. Even though both firearms have been featured at this point in numerous videos on our channel, for our newer viewers, we're going to visit some of the numbers just to get everybody up to speed. The Security 380 is a compact double stack firearm chambered in 380 ACP. It's 6.52 inches long, 1.02 inches wide, 4.35 inches high, and weighs in at 19.7 ounces. The Glock G42 is a micro-compact single-stack firearm chambered in 380 ACP. It's 5.94 inches long, 0.94 inches wide, 4.13 inches high, and weighs in at 12.7 ounces. Now we're going to take a look at some of our comparison shots. With the Glock G42 on top of the Ruger Security 380, while the Ruger Security 380 is the larger firearm, The G42 looks closer in size compared to some of the other firearms we've compared against the Security 380 as of late. The Security 380 here on top of the G42, and it certainly reinforces the idea that the Security 380 is a little larger firearm. Looking at the grip view, here keep in mind I have the Hogue grip sleeve on my G42, so it looks wider than it really is going by the numbers on paper. Looking at the top-down view, we can see that the Security 380 is just a little bit wider than what our G42 is. Before we get into our talking points, how about a little more range time?
For our next test here, we are going to do our one-handed shooting again. Now we have two 6-round magazines with our G42. Last time we started with the left hand. Today we're going to start with the right hand. Mix it up again. I will do 6 shots with the right hand. We will reload, and then we will do 6 shots with the left hand. And so we can compare the easy rack nature of the firearms. What we're going to do is, let's see how it compares loading the firearm with the action closed and having to articulate the slide. That's pretty easy on the G42. Certainly not impossible. Okay, we're going to shoot the top target of our bottom set of targets here. 6 with the right hand, reloading, 6 with the left hand. A little high, but on the paper. I think a little high, a little low of our target, but still on the paper. Alright, and now we're going to do 6 with our left hand at that same target. I'm going to say a little better group with our left hand, which has sort of been the trend as of late. Okay, now we're going to do the Security 380. Now with this one, I have 12 rounds loaded into our 15-round magazine. So what we're going to do is we'll do 6 shots with our right hand at the top of the top 2 targets. Transition and do 6 shots then with the left hand. Here we go. Okay, while the Glock was easy to manipulate the slide and load, the Easy 380, I'm going to say, was significantly easier. It was very easy to do. I don't want to say effortless, but it almost felt effortless. Here we go, 6 shots, top target, right hand. I think I'm a little to the right with my one-handed shooting on the right hand side.
Re-examining our targets here, I think we have what I'm going to call fairly comparable groups. The groups are certainly nowhere near as good as they were in our two-handed shooting, though in one-handed shooting, while you might say one might be slightly better than the other, if we reverse the order, would that be true? I'm not so sure. So again, I'm calling these comparable groups, and for me, pretty good for one-handed shooting. Besides the obvious capacity difference between these two firearms, we're now going to take a moment to go into some of the other differences between them, because there are a few noticeable differences in my opinion. The Glock G42 is in the G4 or 4th generation family of Glock firearms. It has the Glock proprietary polymer frame, along with a hardened steel slide and a steel barrel. The firearm is striker fired and typically came with two 6-round single stack magazines. The firearm does not have a manual safety, not a push button safety or a thumb safety or a grip safety, though it does have Glock's famous safe action trigger system. The standard model comes with Glock's vanilla 3-dot sights, though they're very easy to replace, and as you can see in this video, I have replaced those sights years ago with a set of True Glow tritium night sights. Similar to the Glock G42, the Ruger Security 380 does have a polymer frame, though this is Ruger's glass pack nylon polymer, whereas the G42 has the Glock proprietary polymer. The Security 380 also has a alloy steel slide and barrel. The sights are replaceable, though the factory sights are a fiber optic front sight with a flat black drift adjustable rear sight. Again, replaceable, so if you don't like the sights on either firearm, you can easily replace them. Some people will say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. If you look at the Ruger Security 380 and many other Ruger firearms sold today, they have the Ruger Secure Action Trigger, which looks very similar to the Glock Safe Action Trigger that came before it. Both have that shoehorn safety in the middle. Though the Ruger Security 380 does have a manual thumb safety on the left side of the frame that most Glocks do not have. In fact, I think the only Glocks that have it would be some special contract ones. Now, one other major difference between these firearms, in my opinion, besides the single stack versus double stack nature of them, is on the Glock G42 and many other Glock firearms, to field strip and clean the firearm, you have to pull the trigger, which I'm not a fan of. On the Ruger Security 380 and many other Ruger firearms, you can safely field strip the firearm when it's unloaded without having to pull the trigger, and I think that's a big bonus. We're going to take a break now from our talking points, and we're going to return back to the range. I said at the beginning of the video, amazing weather today. Unfortunately, that also means the background noise is going to ramp up throughout this video, so we're going to have to contend with that. Now let's get back to that range. Don't forget to like and subscribe so Freddy gets his biscuits.
For our third test here today, what we're going to do is we're going to shoot at the right-hand targets. G42 will be on the bottom black target. Security 380 will be on the top Dirty Bird black target. What we're going to do is we're going to practice some double taps now and see how well we can get back on target for our follow-up shot. Now I have 6 rounds loaded in each of our Glock magazines, and so we have a comparable comparison. I only put 6 rounds in each of our Security 380 magazines, so keep that in mind. We're going to start with our G42. Bottom target. I'm going to aim center mass on that bottom target. And we're going to do double taps. Here we go. Well, they're all on the paper. Oh, we got to do 6 more. Here we go. Same thing, center mass on that target. All right, good reliability. I think all of our hits are at least on the paper. Let's see if we can replicate that now with our Security 380. Theoretically, this should be easier with the fiber optic front sight and a slightly bigger firearm, in my opinion, but let's find out. Here we go. Center mass on our top target now. I think all of them are on the paper. We'll have to review the footage to confirm. 6 more now. Same thing, center mass.
Looking at our double tap groups here today, while they're nothing to write home about, one thing I think it illustrates is that both firearms with proper training and practice, can be very easy to get on target, and on follow-up shots to also stay on target. And in my opinion, a lot of that has to do with they have very similar, easy to use triggers. They're about 5.5 pounds, depending on your gauge and various factors. They have nice full-size sights on them that are easy to see, and they're mild on recoil, even for 380s. And in my opinion, those three things combined can help make for a firearm that's both easy to use on your first shot and then also easy to get on target for your follow-up shots quickly and accurately, in my opinion. Let's do one more range test here today before we get to the conclusion of our video.
Okay, for our final test here today, what we're going to do is I have 6 rounds of Holiday Critical Defense loaded into our G42 magazine, 6 rounds in our Ruger Security 380 magazine. I'm going to shoot at our 8-inch splatter target. The bottom one will be the G42 that we're going to start with. 6 shots. And we're going to see how well this ammo groups out of this firearm and then compare that against our Security 380. Here we go. G42 bottom target, 6 shots. Not a spectacular group, but they're all on the paper. Let's see how our Security 380 does.
Looking at our targets for one final time here today. While we don't have spectacular groups with our defense ammo, we put all shots on the target. They're all, for me, pretty well centered. And, well, I think that's good enough for me at this point in the day after shooting as many rounds as I did and whatnot. I've certainly done better, certainly done a whole heck of a lot worse. I would say this sort of middle of the road performance for me in that regard, but still good enough for both firearms. Excellent reliability, 100% reliable again here today. We have reached the conclusion of today's video. It's always nice when we have a chance to examine two excellent firearms side by side. We'll start our closing thoughts today with the Glock G42. Released in 2014, the G42 remains the smallest, lightest pistol Glock sales on the commercial market here in the United States. And it's the only .380 Glock currently available here. In other countries, offerings like the G25 and G28, .380 versions of the G19 and G26 have been available for years. I know many people who'd like to have something like the G28. With the rise of the micro-compact double-stack firearms, a la the SIG P365s, the Springfield Hellcats, etc., modern consumers long for a micro-compact double-stack Glock. The G42 and 43 were both popular going on 10 years ago, but in current times, the micro-compact double-stack class has become extremely popular. With capacities of 10, 12, 15, or more rounds, the micro-compact double-stack class often has a significant capacity advantage over firearms like the G42. Now this is especially true with our video today. The Security 380 we fired, while not the micro-compact, it does have a significant capacity advantage. In the state I live in, it comes with one 10-round and one 15-round magazine. 10 plus 1 is a big bump over 6 plus 1. 15 plus 1 is more than double that. The size increase to accommodate that capacity advantage is approximately 1/10 of an inch, which I don't think is much of a size difference. The capacity disadvantages of the G42 don't render it obsolete, however. Over the years, this firearm has been extremely reliable, accurate, and easy to handle. At its size, many people will consider it a pocket carry firearm. The true pocket carry 380s can be more than a little unpleasant to shoot. In a self-defense situation, that's the least of your worries. But when it comes to practice time and getting comfortable, confident with your firearm, being able to practice more can be an advantage. Compared to the true pocket 380s, like the LCP, the G42 is orders of magnitude easier to shoot, in my opinion. It has much more mild recoil, with sights that are typically larger and easier to see. Now, the Security 380 we fired today is the slightly larger firearm. It shares many of the same advantages the G42 has. It has very mild recoil. It's very easy to see the full-size sights on it. It's accurate, reliable, and has a very functional trigger. At this point, I have enough rounds through the Security 380 to where I do not have any concerns with its reliability. Thus far, it has been extremely reliable, just like the G42 has been for me. In many ways, I feel like Ruger took some lessons learned from the G42 and applied it to their Security 380. Much like the SIG P365 380, I find the Security 380 has some features I would have liked the G42 to have besides that double stack capacity. The Security 380 has forward slide serrations, which I'm a fan of. It also has an attachment rail that can be used to attach a light, laser, or another attachment. Technically, you can get lights or lasers for the G42. Though they are the clamp on the trigger guard style devices, some people have good luck with those attachments. Over the years, the ones that I have tried have had what I consider design flaws that render them what I consider non-functional. They have issues like battery hatches that will randomly open and cause your batteries to go AWOL, sometimes on the first shot. With the attachment rail on the Security 380, you have many more options compared to the clamp to the trigger guard devices. Now, another area where the Security 380 has a potentially big advantage is price. With a MSRP of $369 and often found under that, the Security 380 can be easier on the wallet. Glock doesn't seem to publish MSRPs, but from what I can tell, the G42 runs anywhere from $399 to $499, depending on your area and what's available. That is for the standard black polymer G42. Over the years, Glock has sold a few different ones with different colored frames. For whatever reason, those seem to go for, in many cases, quite a bit more, just for color. Currently, the Security 380 is only available in the black polymer frame, but it wouldn't surprise me if, in the near future, it is available in all the different colors like the Security 9. Now, I'm not a fan of many of these colors, as I think it blurs the line between what are toy guns and actual firearms, but clearly there's a market out there for these other color options. From what I've seen on these different colored Security 9s, they don't typically have quite the same price markup that the different colored Glocks do. I have no idea why that is. Now, as we saw today, Ruger wins in both the price and capacity playbooks. But for the people who want maximum concealability while still having full-size sights and mild recoil, the G42 might still be the better option. Other than concealability, it might be hard to argue with the advantages the Security 380 now has over it. Better capacity, slightly bigger size will lend itself to being easier to shoot for many people, and it's cheaper. When it comes down to what I consider the most important features, reliability and accuracy, both firearms have proven to be excellent. If you read or watch other reviews on these 380 firearms, one point you'll often see in a review is a comment like, "I shoot or I own the Security 9 G43, but I got the 380 for my wife." I'm sure that's true for many people, but I'm also sure there are many people out there who prefer 380, but for the sake of internet upvotes that are worth the same as the points and whose line is it anyway, they don't want to admit it. With both G42 and the Security 380, when I have my 9mm rah friends test them, they often say, "I need to get me one of these," as soon as they finish emptying the magazine. Most won't admit it on the internet. So anyway, I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.